We'll begin with James Maddison. We'll take questions for him first for around 10 minutes. We'll try and get through as many questions as possible. James will then be followed by Ange Postecoglou, and we'll take questions from the floor and use the microphone provided.
Köszöntöm a sajtó munkatársait. Először a játékossal, James Maddisonnal kezdenénk, körülbelül 10 percig lehet tőle kérdezni, utána pedig a vezetőedzővel jövünk.
Hi James. Tomorrow is the England squad announcement as well as Tottenham's match. You're playing very, very well at the moment. You weren't in the last squad, but I presume you're hoping to keep back in the reckoning. There's so much competition in your position. Where do you feel your game is at the moment, and your relationship? You've known Lee Carsley for a long time, I believe, back all the way back to Coventry. How do you think that all fits in, and where do you see yourself at in that particular regard?
Hi everyone, by the way. I don't think question one would be straight in with the England stuff, but listen, yeah, tomorrow is obviously the announcement day. I want to be in the squad. It's simple. Every England player will tell you that. Like you said, yeah, I know Lee Carsley. I worked with him at Coventry. He was my assistant in the under-21s, under Adi Boothroyd, who I had for a few years in European championships that we built up to under-21 level. And my game, I feel really good. I feel really good at the minute. I feel probably as fit as I've ever felt, really. I feel like my fitness is really at an optimum level. Obviously having a break in the summer, a pretty lengthy break, not going to the Euros, it kind of does help. You can see, like, I know it's been spoken about with Erling Haaland, like how he's had a summer off and he hit the ground running. I feel the same. But I feel really good. I feel confident. I feel alive on the pitch at the minute, and that's good. And I always kind of say the same cliche thing when I get asked about the England stuff, and it's if I just take care of my performances for Spurs, which I feel like I'm doing at the minute to a high level, then the other stuff will take care of itself, hopefully. So I'll just continue with that mindset, that mentality, and hopefully it will get me to where I want to be.
A kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy a holnapi mérkőzés mellett az angol válogatott kerethirdetése is holnap történik, mennyire tartja ezt fontosnak, illetve a Coventryvel is lesz majd egy mérkőzésük, ahol játékosként is szerepelt, kérünk nyilatkozzon erről. A játékos pedig azt válaszolta, hogy igen, úgy gondolom, hogy minden angol játékos számára nagyon is kiemelt helyen szerepel az angol válogatott, úgyhogy szeretne mindenki a tagja tenni. A Coventryben pedig fiatal koromban játszottam elég sokat, úgyhogy ismerem a játékokat, hogy az U21-es csapatnak is a tagja voltam. Jelenleg talán valaha legfittebbnek érzem magam. Úgy gondolom, hogy nagyon jót tett ez a hosszabb nyári szünet. Láthattuk hasonló játékosoknál is, milyen hatásai voltak ennek. Úgyhogy úgy gondolom, hogy a teljesítményem az abszolút jó, és ezt szeretném a Tottenhamnél is kamatoztatni ilyen szinten.
You mentioned the fitness there, but it also seems from the outside like you come into this season with a real determination and sort of resolve. Is that the case? And if so, where did that come from? And was that something you thought about in the summer, that this would be a campaign to kind of attack in that sense?
A lot of people made quite a lot of talking about the James Maddison of the start of last year, I think. But in my own head, the James Maddison, the start of last year, had been there for 4 or 5 years in the Premier League at that level. It's just, I think, the exposure you get at being at a bigger club, Spurs, and winning games kind of made everyone think, wow, James Maddison's at a really high level, when really I felt like I'd been at that level quite consistently for a few years. But yeah, I guess whenever in life you have kind of like setbacks, I've also spoke on this in interviews, it can go like one or two ways, and the gaffer kind of said that as well before about like it's how you deal with that. You know, you can either kind of let it swallow you up a little bit and feel sorry for yourself and go down that route, or you can respond in the right way, and the only way really to then actually get back to being successful and getting back in the England squad and playing at the top level for Spurs again. So I don't think it was like it wasn't a massive thing, because I feel like I actually finished the back end of last season quite well. And I just wanted to, always want to prove people wrong, prove any sort of doubters, people who question, always want to prove them wrong. That's where I get some of my hunger from, you know. wanting to be the best version of myself for Tottenham and for my teammates and for the people close to me, but also to prove the people wrong who doubt me. I get satisfaction in that. So, no, like I said on the previous, I feel really good at the minute, and I feel sharp. So, hopefully that can continue.
A kérdés az volt, hogy ugye beszélt a fittségéről, de minthogyha egy extra elhatározottságot is láthatnánk ebben a szezonban. Honnan meríti ezt? A játékos pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nagyon sokan beszélnek a múlt évi James Maddisonról, de ettől függetlenül úgy gondolom, hogy ha valaki a Premier League szintjén már 4-5 éve játszik, akkor vannak bizonyos kvalitásai, és hozzá van szokva egy bizonyos szinthez és terheléshez, úgyhogy úgy gondolom, hogy ezt a szintet a lehető legjobban szeretném hozni, akármi is történik. Hogyha az életben vannak olyan dolgok, amik hátráltatnak, akkor igazából, vagy bárkit hátráltatnak, két választása van, vagy gyakorlatilag sajnáltatja magát, vagy próbál ebből az egészből jól kijönni, és újra erőt meríteni ebből. Úgy gondolom, hogy én ezt az utóbbit teszem. Mindenképpen szeretnék jól játszani mind a Tottenhamben, mind a válogatottban, és úgy gondolom, hogy ettől függetlenül a múlt szezon vége is jól sikerült a számomra, és engem azt táplál, hogy a bennem kételkedőknek bebizonyítsam, hogy nincsen igazuk, és hogy mit is tudok valójában a pályán.
Hi James, up here. I just wanted to ask you about Mikey more. It's clear from the outside that you've really taken him under your wing, and how nice is that as an experienced player, and how exciting is his potential?
Yeah, Mikey, I have to sometimes pinch myself and remind myself how young he actually is. When he first came up, he was 16, and I just thought, at 16, I was like, he's more of like he's kind of a man already, I think. Like when I look at him and I watch him play, he's very powerful. He's only going to get stronger in terms of growing and developing into his body because he is so young. We're literally talking about a teenager, which is quite scary because he's got a lot of ability. But also I don't want to speak too highly because I don't want to put pressure on him, you know. I don't want him to feel like any sort of pressure because he's getting a lot of people talking about him at the minute, but rightly so, and that's down to him training well, which is getting him in the first team, which is getting exposure, which is what he wants. But firstly, I think he's a great kid. He's a really well-mannered, polite young man, which is a credit to his parents and his family, really, because that's first and foremost, as a senior player, when you have a young lad coming up, I think that's the first thing that you kind of recognise, because you don't want a young lad coming up with that arrogance and that kind of, who does he think he is? Like, this is the first team here. He's not like that at all. So that was he got off to a good start. And then his ability on the ball, we see it in training. I think the Spurs fans are keen and eager to see more in games. But we see it in training, and he's got bags of ability, and he looks to me as if he just loves the game and he loves playing, and he gets tackled, he sometimes falls on the floor, he gets up, he just jumps up as if nothing happened, and he just wants the ball again. So really excited to see how his journey goes, and just try and help him wherever I can. I always try and have little chats with him, because I think, what would a 16-year-old James Maddison want? He'd want one of the senior first team players to put an arm around him and treat him like a man, but also give him the advice to try and help him and accelerate that success and the journey he's going to have. So but yeah, he's got to go and do it when he gets the opportunities, and I'm sure he will, and I'm sure he's keen and eager to get going and get more minutes, so I look forward to it.
A kérdés az volt, hogy a fiatal Mikey Moore-t szinte a szárnyai alá vette, tudna erről nyilatkozni, a játékos pedig azt válaszolta, igen, Mikey nagyon-nagyon fiatal játékos, 16 éves, és már ilyen szempontból kész férfi, de nekem is mindig eszembe kell juttatnom magamnak, hogy még csak egy tínédzserről beszélünk, de nem szeretnék túl sokat is beszélni róla, nehogy nyomást helyezzek rá ilyen szempontból. Úgy gondolom, hogy nagyon is szüksége van az ilyenfajta terhelésre. Egy nagyon-nagyon klassz srác, igazán udvarias, nagyon rendes a szüleivel, ami úgy gondolom, hogy nagyon is fontos a futballban, hogyha egy idősebb játékos azt látja, hogy valaki fiatalon már arrogáns, az sose egy jó jel. Az edzésen pedig őt látva lehet azt látni rajta, hogy nagyon is imádja a focit, ha bármikor leszerelik és a földre kerül, azonnal újra a lábán van, és néha ilyenkor eszembe jut, hogy a 16 éves James Maddison mit szeretne egy csapatban, és természetesen neki is nagyon jól esne, hogyha az idősebb játékosok kicsit egyengetnék az útját és segítenének neki, úgyhogy mi is ezt tesszük, és úgy gondolom, hogy ezzel a fajta kitartással egyre több percet fog kapni a pályán.
So one with Jerry and then one with Ali at the front.
Jerry Cox from Haters TV. Dejan Kulusevski's been playing, he's found his position now as a sort of creative midfielder as well. Does that sort of share the load for you, and does it create sort of double problems for the opposition with him playing in that sort of form as well?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what you mean by share the load in terms of what. Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, yeah. No, Decky's obviously a very forward-thinking player. He's played a lot as a winger. He's got some brilliant attributes. He's a top footballer with a top mentality and one of the fittest geezers I've ever seen in my life. So it's nice to play with him. It's very attacking and I love it. He's a creative player, like you say. So not that I've ever felt responsibility to be the only creative player in the team, because the way we play, we kind of create from all different situations with our philosophy here. But no, he's a brilliant player. I think on Sunday at Old Trafford, he really took the game, grabbed it by the scruff of the neck almost, was driving us forward. He's so good at carrying the ball as well. I just feel like there's a really nice balance in there at the minute, so it's a pleasure to play alongside him, especially when he's like that Sunday.
A kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy a csapattársa Dekivel milyen együtt játszani, ugye hasonló poszton kreativitásra van szüksége, a játékos pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nagyon is jó egy ilyen emberrel együtt játszani a csapatban, hiszen azt a fajta plusz kreativitást abszolút bele tudja vinni a játékunkba, és ilyen szempontból nagyon is tudunk más fajta játékkal operálni, és igazából ezt a fajta játékstílust képviselni.
Brennan Johnson are good friends. You put up an image that the fans loved the other day of him as Ronaldo. I think they're calling it Ronaldo. What have you made of this period for him and how he's just kind of showing exactly what he's made of?
No, Brennan's first and foremost obviously a very good friend of mine, very close to them. I think a lot's been made about him coming off social media, which to him probably wasn't as big a deal as what it's been made out. I mean, knowing Brennan, he's the type of guy to sometimes just have a break from that sort of stuff anyway. I think people have kind of read into that a little bit too much, but yeah, since he's obviously gone 4-4, so I don't think I'll be telling him to re-download it anytime soon. But no, he's a great kid. He's a brilliant player. No one's ever had any doubt in that, but he's really shown it at the minute consistently as well. It's not easy to score 4 games in a row for starters. So no, he's a brilliant lad, a great friend of mine, so I'm always there for him. That picture was obviously a bit tongue-in-cheek. We found it funny, it got put in our group chat, so... But no, hopefully he can continue this form because he's a real threat for us and he can do damage to a lot of oppositions in the Premier League and in Europe. So I like to see him in that vein of form. Yeah.
A kérdés Brennan Johnsonra vonatkozott, hogy jó barátságban vannak, mi a véleménye róla a jelenlegi teljesítményéről. Sokan nagyon is komoly csatárokhoz hasonlítják őt. A játékos pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nem is kérdés, hogy zseniálisan tehetséges játékosról beszélünk. Emellett nagyon is jó barátom, úgyhogy nagyon szerettem őt a pályán tudni, és az is mutatja az ő kvalitásait, hogy 4 meccsen zsinórba betalált, úgyhogy úgy gondolom, hogy ez mindenképpen egyfajta jele annak, hogy milyen kvalitásokkal is rendelkezik.
Hello, Ange. We've just been talking to James and asking him about his thoughts on the England squad tomorrow. Do you mind just by starting by telling us what you think about James this season? I know we've been here before, but with a view to another squad coming around and him getting a goal and a couple of assists recently.
Yeah, continue with the answer and I'll contribute.
Okay, cool. Yeah, look, I think Matt has been outstanding so far this year. I think his form right from the first game, to be honest, has been really strong. Physically, I've said a few times, he's back at the levels where he can play in the manner he wants to, and it can have a real effect on the game. Obviously, last 2 or 3 weeks he's had an effect in terms of goals and assists as well, which always gets highlighted with players in this position, but I just think his general play has been outstanding, and I think if he continues in that vein, I'm sure he'll be in the conversation for England squads moving forward.
A kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy korábban Jamesről beszéltünk a válogatottságával és a formájáról kapcsolatban, az edző hogyan tudna róla nyilatkozni. Az edző pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nem is kétséges, hogy James milyen jó formában van. A szezon kezdete óta úgy gondolom, hogy fizikálisan, maximálisan a toppon van a maga szintjén, és ilyen játékosokra szüksége van a válogatottnak is, és természetesen, ha már az elmúlt 2-3 hétben lehetett volna tőle még több gólra vagy gólpasszra számítani. Úgy gondolom, hogy nem is kérdés, hogy milyen jó formában van.
Hi, this is Bence Borbula from Nemzeti Sport newspaper. You have a special connection with the Hungarian football as you work together with Ferenc Puskás at Melbourne. How do you remember these days, these weeks, years, and what are you expecting about the tomorrow game? Ferencváros is the opponent.
Yeah, I do have a special connection for me anyway with Mr. Puskás. I was just I was blessed to be able to spend 3 years in the company of one of the greatest footballers of all time, but more importantly for me, I just an outstanding person. He's one of the greatest people I've ever come across. And like I said, I just feel really fortunate that I had that sort of 3 years with him, where I could sit there and talk to a person that in the football world had done everything, but more importantly, just a person who I had so much respect, admiration for, and I still think about it, and it still kind of feels a bit unreal to me that I got that opportunity being based in Australia, where I was, that I had, and as you get older, you keep those experiences even more. I would love for him to still be around today and see me and where I am, because he played a role in me becoming certainly the football manager I am. He played a role in that, but also the person I've become. And looking forward to the game tomorrow. It's going to be a great challenge for us. Every European game, especially away from home, is a challenge, but I know in this stadium the atmosphere is going to be really good. They get behind their team. They love European football here, and I think it's one that me and all the players are looking forward to.
A kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy különös kapcsolata van a magyar focihoz, hiszen volt szerencséje Puskás Ferenccel együtt dolgozni, és emellett mit vár a holnapi mérkőzéstől. A vezetőedző pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nagyon is szerencsésnek tartom magam, hogy 3 évet együtt töltettem egy ilyen kiváló emberrel, amellett, hogy kiváló focista volt, és mindent letett a pályán, egy kiváló emberről is beszélhetünk, úgyhogy nagyon-nagyon is hálás lehetek azért, hogy 3 évet egy ilyen kiváló ember mellett dolgoztam, akire emberileg is felnézhettem, és néha visszagondolni is hihetetlen, hogy a világ egyik legjobb focistájával dolgozhattam együtt Ausztráliában, és úgy gondolom, hogy nagyon nagy szerepe volt abban, hogy én olyan edzővé váljak, és olyan emberré, mint amilyen ma vagyok. A mérkőzést pedig nagyon várjuk. Úgy gondolom, hogy kifejezett kihívás lesz, mint minden idegenben játszott nemzetközi mérkőzést. Nagyon jó hangulatra számítunk. Itt a Groupamában tudjuk jól, hogy mennyire támogatják a szurkolók a csapatukat, és mi pedig nagyon szeretjük az európai focit, úgyhogy egy jó meccset várunk a holnapitól.
Hi Ange, just continuing Matt's theme about England, Dominic Solanke's got 3-3 now. It might be amusing to you because it was only a couple of weeks ago when people were questioning him already, but overall he seems to have settled in very well. First of all, do you think he's ready for an England recall, and why do you think he has settled in so well?
obviously, we didn't sign Dom till obviously very late in the window, and then he was really keen to sort of get his Tottenham career up and running, and then we kind of had a bit of a false start with him. He got injured really early in the game against Leicester, played out the game, but obviously was hampered and then had to miss a couple. So, for him, it's probably been a little bit frustrating. But I knew what we were bringing to the football club. I was really confident that the way we play and his attributes, it was going to be a great fit, and you could see that from the first day of training pretty much. But we obviously had to be patient, and he's getting up there now in terms of physical fitness. I think every game he looks like he's getting stronger, and it's a demanding role playing, sort of up front for us. It's not just about the goals; it's about his link-up play, his pressing, and we've put a fair workload on him, even though he missed a couple of games. But I can see he's getting stronger, and obviously the goals help. And he's a striker, and he wants to score goals. And I think that helps just for him to feel sort of better about he's at the beginning of his career here. But look, I think he's in great condition. I think he's already made a big impact in our football club. But I'm even more excited about what's ahead and the potential. We have both as a team and he as an individual to really make a significant sort of impact.
Kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy mi a véleménye a Spurs angol válogatott játékosairól. A vezetőedző pedig azt válaszolta, hogy úgy gondolom, hogy a teljesítményük az nagyon is kiváló, főleg ugye csatárfronton kellett ilyen szinten odafigyelnünk erre. Úgy gondolom, hogy a csatárjaink nagyon-nagyon is megérdemlik, hogy helyük legyen ilyen szinten a fociban, és hétről hétre nagyon is jó teljesítményt nyújtanak. Már az elmúlt mérkőzéseken akadtak kisebb fennakadások ilyen szinten, úgy gondolom, hogy ezen a szinten nem is lehet kérdés, hogy mennyire megállják a helyüket.
But just as a follow-up to that, I know you'd be loath to advise an international manager, having been one yourself, but from Dom's perspective, from fitness and the space he's at, do you feel he would be ready to be in England squad if he were called up?
Yeah, no, there's no issues around him from a physical perspective. But I mean, I get enough stick from my own selections, mate. I'm not going to get involved in anyone else's selections, but Dom's fine.
A kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogyha ön lenne az angol válogatott szövetségi kapitánya, akkor Domnak a teljesítményét és készenlétét hogyan értékelni? A vezetőedző pedig azt válaszolta, hogy úgy gondolom, hogy semmi kétség a rátermettségéről, és a jelenlegi formája is nagyon is ezt predestinálja.
Hi Ange, can I just ask you about the squad and who you've, if anyone, left behind, and also you could see Sergio Reguilon came along and why he's here as well?
Oh, he's a Spurs player, mate. I mean, we've got a training session, so it's a balance of we want to have 20 players for training. That's what we do, sort of match day -1, and it didn't make sense bring somebody like Radu or a couple of guys who got injured because we won't get back till late on Thursday. So we brought a couple of young guys in who, obviously the academy was playing last night. We didn't want to disrupt that, so we just brought some young guys in regular along just to make sure our training's really good today. And squad-wise, obviously from the weekend, Destiny hasn't travelled, and he's it's nothing significant, his injury, but again, didn't make sense bringing him over if he wasn't going to play. Obviously, Radu's suspended, and Sonny's back in London as well doing rehab. So, but the rest of the squad, plus some young players, have travelled.
Kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy mi a véleménye a keretéről. A vezetőedző pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nagyon jó ilyen szempontból olyan játékosokkal rendelkezni, akár Sergio, nagyon sok fiatalnak is szeretnénk megfelelő lehetőséget nyújtani, és természetesen örülök annak, hogy a játékosaim így a rendelkezésemre állnak, el tudtak utazni velünk, tudnak edzeni, és sérülésmentesek, úgyhogy nagyon is szeretnénk ezt a fajta balanszot is megtartani.
George.
Hi Ange, with no Destiny, I guess it opens the door for Ben Davies to play left back, but you also have no Radu Dragusin for centre back. Is Archie Gray sort of capable, you think, of playing centre back in a European competition, or was that more pre-season, kind of just easing him in?
No, I think Archie can play, centre back. He's obviously played fullback. He's played midfield. Played probably left back. He's a pretty versatile player. It's one of the reasons we were really sort of excited about bringing him to the club. He takes in information well, so as you said, obviously with Radu being suspended and Destiny out, we're definitely going to need him at the back, and we've got a couple of different options about where we use him, but I'd be comfortable using him in any of those areas.
A kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy mi a véleménye a védősorról, például Ben Davisről. A vezetőedző pedig azt mondta, hogy vannak olyan játékosok, akik igen sok helyen bevethetőek, szélsővédőként, akár középsővédőként, akár a középpályát segítve, de úgy gondolom, hogy ilyen szempontból nagyon erős védelemmel rendelkezünk, jó az összhang a srácok között, akár itt emlegetjük Davist vagy Destinyt, nagyon jól meg vagyunk ilyen szempontból.
Jerry. Ange, we heard earlier from Pascal Janssen, the Ferencváros coach, who said he played against you when you were at Celtic. He was at Alkmaar. Just do you have any memories of that game, and also any advice for him as a young manager making his way overseas? Obviously, you've been there several times.
Well, neither of us played against each other, let me tell you that, mate. I remember the game well. It was one of sort of my early doors at Celtic, and it was a very, very good AZ Alkmaar team. He had Pascal, and they were two really tough games, important games kind of for me, because European football that year was kind of the beginnings, and was going to be important for Celtic season, and real challenging games, both of them. Remember them well. Like I said, they had a very good team. He had them set up really well, really intense games, high tempo games, and it's great to see that he's kind of continuing on with his managerial career, and looking forward to seeing him again tomorrow night. But I expect an equally challenging encounter as I did when we played them.
A kérdés az volt, hogy a Ferencváros edzője említette, hogy az Alkmaarral már találkoztak korábban, amikor ön a Celtic csapatát vezette. Hogyan emlékszik erre a múltbéli mérkőzésre? A vezetőedző pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nagyon is jól emlékszem erre a meccsre. Ez volt az egyik korai Celtic meccsem. Két nagyon fontos és kemény mérkőzés játszottunk, hiszen a Celticnek nagyon is fontosak voltak ezek a nemzetközi mérkőzések. Jól emlékszem rájuk, nagyon, nagyon is intenzív, kemény mérkőzések voltak, és nagyon jó látni, hogy a kollégám hol tart jelenleg az edzői karrierjében, úgyhogy öröm lesz újra őt a kispadon látni, ettől függetlenül a holnapi mérkőzésre is egy nagyon-nagyon kemény csatára számítunk, mint az előző összecsapásunk során.
Okay, thank you very much.
Köszönjük szépen.